Well, things are going good. And I was born right here in Huntsville. Yeah, I'm a native right here in Huntsville. Born and raised right here from a family of 11.
Really?
Hmm.
Um, you were educated in the Huntsville Public Schools? Or?
Yes, I went to Lakewood Elementary.
Mhm.
Then I went to Davis Hill Middle. Then I went to good old Johnson High School. Yay! And then from there, I went to college at Drake Technical College for a little while.
Yeah.
Calhoun, Athens State, and Florida Institute.
Hmm.
And by the grace of God, worked it jobs, part-time jobs, full-time jobs, and landed a job out on Redstone Arsenal.
Hmm.
Retired from Redstone Arsenal, 35 years out there.
Really?
Long, 35 years and 4 months.
The time you were at Redstone Arsenal, what skills did you learn as far as things that benefit you today?
Well, I would say, first of all, people skills.
Hmm.
Because it was meeting after meeting after meeting, you just was, Redstone Arsenal, as you know, is huge
Yes.
with employees out there. So, you met a lot of people as you done your job each and every day. Because at the point I was admin, starting out with admin, which is simply administrative work.
Sure.
So I went from administrative to a program they call worker trainee program. The worker trainee program allows you to work full time, but you were still administrative. And then from there, I got picked up on the intern program. The intern program, that's where the career started at Redstone. Logistic management specialist. I loved my job. I loved working with people. I worked with Patriot missile system
Yes.
for several years out there.
Hmm.
Then the day finally came for me to retire. I've been retired going on 7 years. I retired in 2017. And before I retired, I acquired the radio station.
Which I was going to ask you about. I remember the station when it first came on in 1967 as the powerful WVOV.
Mm-hmm.
Had a lot of power. When you think of retirement, you think of taking on your own contracting company with the government. You decided to go into commercial broadcasting.
Yes,
How was
and I didn't see it coming. Let me tell you, I didn't see it coming. While I was working at Red Star, I've always interested in ministry. And at some point, I thought I was going to be a motivational speaker.
it? Okay.
But God showed me no. You're not a motivational speaker. You are to minister to the people. So at that point, I didn't accept it. I just kept calling myself a motivational speaker. Well, a friend told me about WDJL. Now, I didn't know anything about WDJL at all. But what happened was WDJL was having a food bank. And that's where it all started, at the food bank. They was asking people to bring food for the needy here in Huntsville to WDJL. And so my friend out there on Redstone said, well, why don't you go and find out about that and take some food over there? And I thought, well, maybe I will. What day are they going to be doing this food bank? So I found out. And so I called to verify that they was having a food bank. They said yes. So it was the next day, matter of fact. So what I did was I called my supervisor and told him, to put me on leave. I was going to be a little late. So I went and bought 5 bags of grocery at Food World. Food World's not here now anymore, but Food World. So I went and bought it, and I brought it over, and that's where it all started. My ministry here at the radio station with the food bank. So I did that for a little while. Just helped out any way I could, basically. And then the way I acquired the radio station was that the radio station CEO at the time, the owner decided that he wanted to sell the station. You see what I'm saying? The owner,
Yes.
which was Keith. What's Keith's last name? I think it was last name right now, but Keith Sharp. That's who it was. A lot of people know Keith Sharp here. He owns so many different things here in Huntsville. But anyway, it was up for sale. So one of the announcers decided he wanted the station, but he didn't want it by itself.
Yes.
So I was asked if I wanted to be a part of it. And I said, well, I don't know anything about the radio station. I just work here in ministries. Seems like it's going to be a big deal to me. I'm not sure I want to do this. So he needed a partner. So what happened with that was I decided that I would join him, try to be a part of it.
Sure.
So what happened with that, so we went and talked to the owner about the station. see how much it's going to cost for us to get the radio station. And so I went and got my half, and he went and got his half. Make a long story short, it didn't work out that way. It didn't work out that way. So I wound up with the radio station. I wanted a partner. You know, I didn't want the station. I just didn't want to be responsible for the station because I didn't know anything about the station. You know, the operations and stuff. I would have to learn everything from the bottom and go to the top. And sometimes that's not a bad thing when you're going into business to start from the bottom and go to the top because you don't miss anything.
Yes.
You know, and sometimes when you're doing a business and they give it to you, it's given to you, then you miss the bottom part of learning. So I've had the station for now, I think it's like 16 years. And I know a lot about the station, a lot more than I knew when I first started the radio station. So I thank God. And I did accept my calling as a minister. So it all came together. Christian radio station, a minister, CEO of a gospel Christian radio station here at WDJL.
Talk about some of the personalities that are here at WDJL.
Okay, I'm going to talk about Walter Peavy. He's a radio personality now. He was here before I got here. And a lot of people know Reverend Peavy. Reverend Peavy, he gets on the air and he just have you laughing, you know. So many people know him.
Yes.
And he's known for lifting you up, turning you around, putting you on solid ground. You know, if you're feeling down, Reverend Peavy's going to lift you up. And he's known for that laughter.
Yes.
Laughter and preaching, because he preached. Okay, the other person would be Gary Taylor. Now, Gary Taylor, Brother Gary, they call him Brother Gary. Everybody loved Brother Gary because he loved to pray for people. And he's just a people person. He's an encourager. Gary is different from Walter. They got their own different ways of radio, but both of them love God. They love God. They love to bring people to God. You know, they're listeners. They'll listen to you. You know, if you're not having a good day, you need to turn to WDJL 1000 AM. And we will flip that switch to put you in a better laughing mood each and every day right here. Now me, I'm also a radio personality. My radio name is Faithful. And before I became a radio personality, you know, I didn't know what my name was going to be. I kept thinking I said, okay, it needs to be a spiritual name. God has given me that. And I said to myself, well, what name could I think of? What could it be? And so I said, well, Lord, since you want me to be a radio personality, then what do you want my name to be? And he said, Faithful. I said, Faithful? He said, yes, your radio name is to be faithful because you've been faithful in a few things. That's why you ought to be called Faithful. So I'm Faithful. That's my radio name.
Well, I'll let you know also, I don't know if you know this, but you've been the longest owner of this radio station now than any other owner who had it before.
No, I didn't know that.
Initially, like I said, it came on in late 1967, and those owners lost the radio station around 1979. So 11 years there.
Wow.
Then it went into other people's ownership, but you've had it for way longer than anyone else here also.
Well, glory be to God.
And to me, it's more than a business. It's
ministry.
It's a ministry. Tell me about that.
The ministry part is that, first of all, it is a Christian radio station. The ministry part is to draw people closer to God, to walk with God each and every day. And that's what we do here. We have ministry every day of the week, not just Sunday. Every day somebody's preaching and teaching God's word. And for me, that's the number one thing for the Tennessee Valley, is to bring people to God.
Yes.
It's very important to bring people to God, because when you walk with God, you're walking in prosperity. Victory is yours when you walk with God. So we want people to draw closer to God, and that's what our mission is to draw you closer to the one who woke you up this morning and the one who's going to put you to sleep at night.
What about, excuse me, most radio stations, particularly radio stations of color, you turn it on and some announcer from California or some, not even in Huntsville, you're doing your broadcast day, you broadcast directly from Huntsville to the Tennessee Valley.
Absolutely. Right here. This is where it all happened. 7226 Stringfield Road, right here, live.
Tell me about the future. What are your future goals and for WDJL?
Well, the future goal is to expand. Um, I want to get more listeners. I want our frequency to increase. And I want to be the #1 station in the Tennessee Valley, bringing people to Christ. And with the businesses, helping them to be more broader in the Tennessee Valley, by offering them very good rates for their business. And whatever their needs are, I want them to come to WDJL and let us help them. We got so many entrepreneurs here in the Tennessee Valley just starting out.
Yes.
Well, I believe we can help them move forward. We're very reasonable with our rates. Why? Because we are a Christian radio station. I believe in everybody having a chance. It's not about money for me.
Yes.
It's about pleasing God. Because if I do what God had me to do, everything else will fall in place. So it's not about the money for me.
Beautiful.
Never have been, never will be.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.